make your day richer than it was before. Got some good times knocking upon your front door.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a big show today, everyone. We have music, we have chickens, we have movies, music. What else do we have? We have a new book coming out today. We don't have a new book coming out, but my friend Amy Lotta does. It's called Doodle Fantasy Worlds, Easy Ways to Doodle. She is an amazing, amazing artist. Look, there's just some of them. I should have done these. I don't have a camera operator, so there's no one to zoom in, but she teaches you how to doodle all kinds of amazing, amazing things. Let's see what else is in here. Look at this. Look at how good she is. Oh, and the exciting part about this book is that one of the exciting parts is that it lays flat. So when you're practicing, you don't have to worry about the pages flipping over. You know, like in cookbooks where you can't read the recipe, this lays flat. Look, just lays flat, just like that. And oh my gosh, what's on the back? Oh, that would be me with a little blurb on how amazing Amy Lotta is. She's been on this show many times. We love her around here. So congratulations, Amy. This is her, 17,000th book about doodling, hand lettering. She's an amazing person. Amy Lotta, creations.com, I believe, is her website. So go check her out. Okay. What else is great is that there's a new episode of Gorilla HR, the podcast, which is a podcast that debuted last week. 2 weeks ago. Time flies around here. And it's a podcast that I'm lucky enough to help Becky produce and edit. It's available wherever you get your podcasts. When we first started talking about doing this podcast with her, she said, I don't want to film a podcast. I see what you do. That seems like a lot of work. I just want to talk because I think people don't want to watch me. And I said, okay. So it's an audio only podcast, but there is a video on YouTube that you can get, and take a look at the clip that's out this week.
I had a client years ago, and they had a position that was kind of a director of administration. They had HR, they had accounting and finance, they had IT. So they had all the different support services and the shared services within the organization. And from a comp standpoint, that rated a little bit lower than some of the other technical folks. However, even though the comp data, the market data said, well, that admin role is a little bit lower than somebody with some technical skills, the organization said, but that's really my number two person. That is the person who I truly value. If I'm not here, they're the one who's going to step in for me. They're the one who's going to make decisions. They can speak on my behalf. They can represent me. And so even though we had that market data, we said, well, we've got some internal value and we don't want to discredit that either. So we needed to look at that position in comparison to others within the organization and say, hey, we value this one a little bit more.
There you go. Gorilla HR, the podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. It's also right there, her website on the screen, gorilla-hr.com. Okay, before we start today, because it's been a big, big year for us. We started this show last June. We had, by January 1st, 100,000 views, and it has kind of gone a little crazy in the best possible way. So let's see how many views we were at as of this morning, shall we? Let me find the right thing. 243,385. And I love every single one of those views. And that's why we put the exact number up there. So thank you, everyone who watches this show, who downloads, who shares, who likes. Now's a good time to just do that. If you're watching or listening, just share it. Just click the button. It takes 4 seconds. And I love a good goal. So the goal now by March 1st is to get to 250,000 views. So help us with that, would you? Thanks. Okay, and what's going to help us are the amazing guests that we have today. So I think I should shut up and we should start. Because today we're talking about something we all experience which is stress. My first guest has not only faced it head on, but he's found a way to manage it and share his wisdom with the world. He suffered a heart attack in 2015, and it became a wake-up call that led him on an incredible journey to find joy and lower stress. He's written a best-selling book about it called Great Things Happen Every Day, Finding Joy with Family, Friends, and Banana Milkshakes, and he's here to share his life-changing 9 S's of successful stress management. Please welcome Phil Barth. Hey, Phil.
Thanks for having me. I love the graphic. I'm on TV.
Thanks. You're on TV. Get ready. Thanks for being here. So, a heart attack in 2015 is kind of where this all began.
Yeah. So I was in my early 50s and not in terrible shape. Not peak athletic form or anything, but in pretty decent shape. Had no family history, no smoking. And I just started feeling bad. I was with my son at summer camp, and we went every year at a scout summer camp. And this year the hills seemed taller, and just everything started to kind of go downhill until on Thursday we played a game called Hungry Human Hippos, which, the game Hungry Hippos, replaced the hippos with humans. So I was the hippo swinging around, gathering all the softballs, and I spun around and I felt terrible afterwards. Long story short, I went to the nurse, and she called my wife and said, "Hey, if this is my husband, I call 911." And I'd had a small heart attack, which was a shock. But as part of the recovery, they said you need to manage your stress. And so I've learned a bunch of things about managing stress since then. And one of the things I learned was you have to be positive. You have to have a better outlook on life. And that's where the book came from, was just a collection of things that I started doing and putting out on social media to share. Here's what's good in the world. Here's what's going on good in my life. What's going on good in your life. And it really has made a huge difference.
Would you say then, like, your positive outlook before and after? Like, before, was it just kind of normal? Was it more of a negative? What would you say it was like?
So actually, I'm a geek, and I'm into AI. And so I did an analysis of all my Facebook posts before and after. And I was between 3 and 4 to 1 positive to negative, which is about normal before the heart attack. And it's now between 10 and 15 to 1. I'm just finding more positivity in life.
I know there's obviously, a list, like you said, of things to help. What made you decide that you were going to start doing it publicly with your list? I love the list. He had a daily list called Great Things That Happened Today, and I love it.
Yeah. So it was almost on a whim. I told the doctor that, he said, "I want you to promise me that you will take 1 week off every 3 months." And so I told him I'd do it, and my wife was in the room, so that's
official.
That's a binding contract. And so it was 3 months into, I had been back to work, and 3 months later, my wife said, "Okay, it's been 3 months. We're going to take a staycation." It was spring break for my son. And the first day we went to the Cincinnati Zoo. And at the end of the day, I just got on Facebook and I typed, "Hey, here were the great things that happened today." Just kind of a random post, and everybody liked it. And so once you get likes on Facebook, you have to keep doing it because, And so the next day it was the art museum, and I kept putting the great things that happened. And I remember thinking toward the end of the week, well, I'm back at work next week. How long can I keep finding great things? And the answer is, it's been about 9 years now.
Wow. So a very public gratitude journal.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm assuming then that you've also inspired other people to start this.
That's the hope. And I've seen other people do it. It's like, hey, let's all try and find what's good in our life. Start it. You can do it privately, or you can do it publicly. For me, the public format worked because it kept me, now I'm known as the great things guy. And so that keeps it going. And that worked for me. Other people just having a gratitude journal, that works for them, and that's fine.
What was I'm thinking of, like you said, oh my gosh, 9 years. Do you remember like one thing maybe that was a day of like a struggle to find something and was the most random thing that you loved about that day?
I've had days when it was a struggle to find things, and early on, I forced the issue and put stuff out there. And I'm not going to go back to the whole story. It was a mistake. It's a mistake. I know the book says great things happen every day, but there are days when great things don't happen. And so you kind of have to honor that and say, okay, I will be back at it tomorrow, and just let that day go. So in terms of having a crappy day and finding one thing, I probably have, but I think the biggest lesson that stood out to me was you're not going to win every single day. There's an old quote by Zig Ziglar that all sunshine and no rain makes for a desert. So my math is, let's just say in a 30-day month, you've got 3 days that are so good that you couldn't possibly screw them up no matter how hard you tried. And you've got 3 days that are so bad that you're not going to be able to save them. I think it's a little high, but whatever. That leaves 24 days in the middle. And that's why the gratitude is so important, because you win those days and you wire your brain for positivity, and those hormones wind up helping your heart health and all kinds of other health too.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many health benefits to that.
Yeah.
I know obviously it would be personal for each person, but how long did it take for you to start realizing kind of a shift in your brain?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. It was probably a month or two into it. What happens is you train your brain. So subconsciously, you're just finding the great things at first. And there were first month or two, it's like, oh, what was great about today? But you look through it and you find it. And then within a month, it's like when you buy a car and all of a sudden you notice that everybody else is driving the same car, same color, et cetera. You just train your brain. And it's like, okay, I'm going to go out because that's what you want. I'm going to go out and find what's good in life. And it just kind of flows. Other thing I learned was it's okay to repeat. You don't have to look for new things every day. Because I was like, oh, I said that yesterday. Well, guess what? It was great yesterday and it's great today. It might be great tomorrow.
I think that's good to know, because we're in a world of like instant gratification and instant, like I need likes on Facebook, I need this, I need follows, and to know that it's not a sprint, and that you have to train yourself to do it, and that it's going to take a little bit of time.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And stick with it. I think there's been studies that say it takes 21 days in a row to develop a habit. I'm not sure about the number, but it's about that. So I would say give it a month.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did it last month, right? Gratitude, thankful in November. The thing of it is, then you're just sprinting toward that end on November 30th. Just give it a month and keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. How did it change your like family dynamic?
I think my family would say I became a more positive person. Do I still have sarcasm? Yeah. I mean, I'm a dad. I
hope so. Yeah.
Gotta have some, right? but there's a lot more positivity. And so I was able to kind of find the good in life. One of the things that we really liked, it's on the title, is Banana Milkshakes. So I think the change was they got more milkshakes, because you just throw some frozen bananas and some frozen yogurt and milk in the blender and make milkshakes. And again, little thing, it repeats at various times, and it's a great thing.
Where did the book come from?
It came from the posts. So I started the posts, as I said, about 3 months after the heart attack. And so I took all the posts, and this was pre-AI, so I actually had to copy, paste, and do work. But
not a great day.
Oh. but it actually kind of was, because I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, some good reflection.
Yeah. So copy them all out of Facebook, put them into a Word document, and then pick and choose. And I grouped them. So okay, here are all the things that happened around the holidays. Here are all the things that featured my oldest son, my middle son, our youngest son, etc. Here are the things related to a trip that we took to Chicago. And then one is just, here are the dad jokes. And I pulled the dad jokes off of Facebook and had a section. And I warned people in the book, look, if dad jokes aren't your thing, why'd you buy the book? No, if dad jokes aren't your thing, just skip to the next chapter. I understand. But and put them all in there. And then there were backstories, right? So for example, we take a family week in Charleston, South Carolina, and there's my son on the beach in Charleston. And so I put everything in there, and then you put the front story. Hey, every year the family members all gather in Charleston for a week, and here's some of the fun that happened. And then at the end, there's kind of a takeaway.
Who would you say the book is for?
Anybody. Well, that's for everybody. Anybody who needs to see the bright side of life. And that's the feedback, the positive feedback I have received is people saying, hey, this really made a difference in my life. This helped me to see what's good in life. I had a friend of mine that I was doing a guest message at his church. And when he introduced me, he said, Phil has written this book. And he said, I went through a major surgery, and this book really helped me get through it. And it was like a real serious surgery. And so I'm about ready to get up there, and I got tears coming down my eyes, like, oh, that's so nice of you to say. It's just some way, because I feel I'm in a pretty open space, because there's a lot of people on the other side telling you why life is so terrible. News channels for that, right? So mine is the other side. It's like, hey, let's step back and take a look at life and realize that there is a lot of good things happening in the world.
Yeah. Are you going to write again? Do you think another book is okay? Good.
Yes. I'm working on it right now. It's called Fry Your Chickens. So it's all those stressed chickens inside of you that say you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not handsome enough, whatever, and how to handle them. And it's based on a keynote I deliver at various conferences.
That's a good segue into my question about the rubber chicken. Your motto is one rubber chicken at a time, and I have questions.
Please,
can you tell the story behind the rubber chicken?
All right. So years ago, I gave a speech, and it was called Fry Your Chickens. And it's the story. It was a story of asking the lady who ultimately became my wife out on the first date. And so I kind of visualized these chickens in my head saying, she's out of your league. You're what are you thinking? She's going to friend zone you, et cetera, et cetera. And I turned that into a humorous speech. Well, then at some point, one of my coworkers was hosting a forum, and he put it up there, and he gave me a rubber chicken as an award for that speech. He showed the video and gave me a rubber chicken. And it just, I see his head's around backwards. There he is. It just became this thing. People loved it. My sons are in a heavy metal band. They borrowed it. This is in one of their heavy metal music videos, or one like it. And people can relate, right? Because you've got these little rubber chickens that are inside of your head. And when you stop and think about it, it's like, why are they holding me back? Why am I not going to take a chance? And so I use them in my keynotes. And my favorite one, not to give away the punchline of my keynote, but I tell people, you don't need to be afraid of the chickens that tell you you're not good enough, you're not handsome enough. The one chicken you need to be afraid of is I call him the red rooster of regret. And he's huge, and he's obnoxious, and I have people squeeze him in the keynote, and it'll go for 45 seconds, just this awful moan. But that's the fear, right? When you get to the end of your life, having regrets is a bad thing. I could have, should have, would have. And those regrets are what you really want to be afraid of. And take a chance. And these little chickens, don't worry about it.
What a great way to think about it. That's so good. If you're watching and you're like, gosh, Phil looks so familiar. Where do I know him from? Maybe you know him from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in 2003. Mm-hmm. How'd that happen?
Again, that's another Fry Your Chicken story, because I watched the very first episode. I think it was 99. Mm-hmm. And as I'm watching, I'm thinking, that's the kind of thing I think I could do, because it's multiple choice. It's not like Jeopardy where you actually have to know obscure facts. It's multiple choice test. And I didn't think much about it until the end of the show. And they said, if you want to be a contestant, just dial this 800 number. So that started, and it wasn't that easy, right? 200,000 people called in every night, and 10 people got on the show. Mm-hmm. So, and those are the odds that chickens are like, what makes you so great that you're 1 in 20,000? But it was a multi-year process to figure out how to land a spot on the show. And ultimately I did. And I won $32,000.
Wow. Was that in the Regis
That
version of it?
It was right after syndication, Meredith Vieira.
Okay. What was that like to go do that?
It was amazing and scary all at the same time. Yeah, because the day before they're like, okay, you have to practice getting in and out of the seat. And I get in the seat in the studio and I'm thinking, holy cow. You know, I always said I was going to go until I got there, but this is really happening. I'm kind of shaking a little bit, but I had an idea of what I was going to do and it worked. Was, okay, look, don't think about the fact that there's a million people going to watch this. Don't think about the people in the audience. Just when the question comes up, close your eyes. And when you open your eyes, it's just you and a trivia question. Nothing else matters. And it worked until the $64,000
until
question.
it didn't. Yeah.
If it works for 32 grand, that's okay.
Yes, we'll take that. Were you a game show fan or were you just a Millionaire fan?
I was a game show fan.
Yeah.
Millionaire was always my favorite. I watched Jeopardy, but it was more, I was in awe of watching how can people know all of that. I mean, I like the first round, the $100 or $200 question. I'm like, yeah. And then they get to the tough ones. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Then I'm out. Yeah. Are you a Wheel of Fortune fan? That's my game.
Yeah, my grandmother loved Wheel of Fortune, and we would watch. And she had a rule: do not solve the puzzle until I figured it out too.
Oh, that's not the point of the game, Grandma.
Stop.
That's hilarious. Do you watch Meredith's new game show, 25 Words or Less?
I have not seen that yet. No, I have to do that.
Pretty fun.
Love Meredith Vieira.
Yeah, she's good. I love game shows. I would host a game show in a second.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you, Meredith Vieira is the nicest person off camera you're going to meet.
I bet.
Was a super nice person. I was on 2 shows. So they take you back to the dressing room and you change clothes and they come back for the next day.
Yeah.
So I'm walking past and she had been getting her makeup done and she stopped me and wanted to just chit chat and talk about family and everything. And the show would happen, but she was going to just talk with me and get to know me a little bit. And she sent me a handwritten thank you note. And it's not just me, everybody after the show.
What a class act.
She really is.
If I had a better show, a bigger show, and a better producer besides me, I'd be like, well, and Meredith's here to talk to you and tell you thank you. But she's
Meredith, it's been so long, virtual hug.
No. But if she wants to come on, Meredith, come on over. What do you love most about your life right now?
My family. I say that the heart attack was really the best thing that could have happened to me. That said, I don't want to have another one because one's enough. But it really helped the family. We all pulled together. We all got through it. We all realized what's really important in life. And that's me as much as anything. And it's my wife, our 3 sons, and the extended family that we have. Just means the world to me.
Good. That's a great answer. Your website is philbarthbooks.com. Is that the best place people can connect with you or not?
That'll get you to the books. The website is philbarth.com, and that'll get you to all the socials are on there, links to the socials, links to my programs, and a link to the book.
Okay, good. Go buy the book. The book is called Great Things That Happen Every Day. Phil, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This has been thoroughly enjoyable.
Well, I hope you come back when your next book comes out.
I absolutely will.
And if it would give me enough time, and I will get Meredith Vieira on here. Oh, that's my challenge.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That would be
the best.
It'll be fun. We'll play a game or something.
You know what would be better than watching this commercial? Watching your commercial. Scan the QR code or visit makeyourdayricher.com/advertising to start promoting today.
All right, I just realized that maybe my next guest can be the producer of my game show, but we'll have to ask her first and see how she feels about that. All right. Do you believe in making your dreams happen no matter what? My next guest is the embodiment of that spirit. She's an independent filmmaker with a true do it yourself mentality. She believes that with creativity and ingenuity, you can achieve anything in film, and she's proven it by directing, writing, and producing my new game show. She's here to share her secrets to independent filmmaking and her passion for storytelling. But first, we're going to play some music. This is a music video by Aftercost that she produced called Death. So take a look, and then she'll magically be here.
You've been a thorn in my side, I can't let you go. I need to get back, but I know that I've lost control. You're always trying to waste my time, trying to waste my time. Tell them no, this is not what I want, go back and play. Don't let them come, let them stay, let them break your heart like this. You got better days ahead. Say goodbye. You got better days ahead. I think I'm losing my mind. Try to tune out your voices, but they're cutting my skin. I think I've had it. I don't want you, get out my mind. Get out my mind. Tell them no, this is not what I want, go back and play. Don't let them come, let them stay, let them break your heart like this. You got better days ahead. Say goodbye. You got better days ahead.
That was nice. And this is Aurielle Bryan.
Hi.
There, you've got clap.
Yay!
You can tell she's a great producer because she came loaded with things today to help promote herself. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm
Of
excited to be
course.
here.
Well, I first need to start with the important things that we both lived in Maryland.
Oh, That's
and
exciting.
you're now in North Carolina and I'm in South Carolina. So we're just following each other around the
Fantastic.
country.
Apparently.
That's
Apparently.
did you did you how long have you been in North Carolina?
I've been here, I'm going on 4 years now. So
Okay. You love
semi-recent,
it?
but enough time to have like settled in.
Yeah. And it seems like from the what I've researched, and by research I mean Facebook groups I've joined, that the film industry in this area is actually quite large and busy.
Yeah, and it's like growing every year. Like where I'm at in North Carolina, it's like called Wilmingwood. So I don't know, you've heard of Wilmington?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of like productions and stuff that are kind of happening here too. So it's
Oh,
exciting.
cool. Were you always creative growing up? Were you always pretending to make, like, 'cause that's what I did. I pretended to have a talk show in my bedroom, which not much has changed in 40 years. But is that the kind of kid you were?
Yeah, I was like the kid. So when we were growing up, our parents limited the amount of TV and stuff that we could watch. So we were
Mm.
like reading all the time. I got into writing. I was into like the performing arts and stuff like that. So it's not a surprise to my parents that I ended up doing this at all.
It's such a unique path, I think, that you've taken. It's not something that a lot of people do. How did you get into like producing instead of, I think so many people want to be an actor, an actress, or, a director. How did
Yeah.
you get into doing what you're doing?
So I started off being in the acting side of stuff and I really wanted to do acting. And then as I was getting older, like my parents encouraged it, but my dad kind of sat me down and was like, okay, but how are you going to make money?
Yeah.
He was like, I don't really care as long as you can support yourself. So then I really started thinking, like, yeah, actually, how am I going to do that? I didn't necessarily just want to be doing waitressing or something like that, which is the
Mhm.
stereotypical job every actor gets. Um, so I ended up in college and then I happened to get into a film class and they were telling me all these other cool things that you could do behind the camera. And I was like, I never even thought about that. Like I've been writing, but I mostly had just been like acting or dancing or something of that nature. And then I got into the film class and I learned about the directing and producing aspect of it. And I was like, bet I can make money. So let's do that.
Sold.
Yeah, this sounds good. I can still be like, I can kind of still do my passion projects, but I
Mhm.
can also support myself. So that's kind of how I ended up doing more of the like the producing side of it.
Okay. I want to talk about producing. So the video that we watched, the music video from After Cost, it's called Doubt. Go look
Yeah,
it up and support them. You produced that music video. Can you tell everybody like what a producer does? Like I think people know what a director does, but I think
right.
sometimes people get confused with what a producer is. Can you tell everybody
So
like what you did for that music video?
yeah, it's gonna depend indie versus studio, first of all. It
Okay.
like when you're in the indie sphere, everybody's doing everything to make sure that the project gets done. So I do a lot of the indie side of producing, and so that's gonna be more scrappy. It's gonna be how am I gonna pull all the resources together, whether it's financial, whether it's people, how are we finding locations? What can I pull from? Sometimes it's charging your own credit card in order to secure a location, so
Yeah.
it's way more hands-on. It's way more trying to keep everything together. Sometimes people are freaking out and you're the therapist, trying to
Mm,
make sure the stuff can still get done. You're looking for hair and makeup sometimes. You're looking for last minute caterers. It's a lot. And but I enjoy it because every day is different.
yeah. Yes. It sounds like you're always busy. There's no downtime
Yeah.
when you're a producer.
Yeah. You're on the phone a lot, you're emailing a lot. Like, yeah.
When, because you have your own, is it a media company? Is it a production company?
Yeah. So we're kind of like in between a media production company and a creative agency.
Okay.
Again, making sure that people can put food on the table, we have to do a lot of the corporate side for videos, and not just like the fun features and shorts and all of that. So we still do those things, but we also help customers and clients make sure that their branding is together, whether that be through web design, whether it be through commercial work, whether that's through publishing, anything visually facing, we kind of help our clients with.
Is there a specific type of client that you work with, and how can those people connect with you?
Yeah, so we don't have a specific industry that we work with. We're very interested in the clients individually. So if a client's like, I don't know, I kind of have this idea, but they're willing to be a little more creative for things or think outside the box, we're into those clients. Just because we can
Like
kind of
those
stretch
who
our
want a
creative
game
muscles.
show.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We're like into cool, weird, quirky things that
Yeah.
people want to do. It doesn't just have to be a dentistry, but we still work with those too. So we can do like standard corporate things, but we also love when we can flex a creative muscle as well. And pretty much you can just find us at our website, which is www.airmedia.com, .net. Woo, was getting my own website wrong. But we're also on like Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So anywhere in there, you can reach out to us.
Okay, good. And I know one of the movies you're working on right now, Saving Savannah, is that out yet, or are you still working
It's
on that?
out. It's out. It's
Nice.
on Tubi and Amazon Prime now. And back to the producing side of that, that was a 7-year process.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Just recently it's gotten a little bit easier for independent filmmakers without a well-known celebrity or a film festival darling to kind of get their movies onto platforms. And
Mhm.
so that was 7 years of navigating, trying to figure out where is going to be the best place to kind of let this film kind of run its life on. And we got pretty lucky coming in at the right time.
Well, I was gonna say 7 years ago,
It was
were
still hard.
Tubi, yeah, yes. Was that the plan 7 years ago? Like, were you able 7 years ago to get your stuff on Amazon and places like Tubi? I feel like that was so new.
So there, Amazon Prime was around. It wasn't
Okay,
as
yeah.
prolific as it is now. It was mostly just for the shipping side of stuff. And there was a way to do it, but Amazon closed that down like pretty quick. And then you had to go through third party like aggregates. So you were paying them a lump sum up front to hopefully get you on to the services, but that wasn't
Mm,
always reliable or trustworthy because your film was getting lumped in with like 100 other films, and you might have shelled out $2,500 to this company and you don't know if you're going to get on or not. And some of the reporting on
mm.
that was a little iffy as well too, but now it's a little bit easier to go and get
Okay.
your films on.
Okay. So Saving
Yeah.
Savannah is on Tubi and Amazon Prime. Tell everybody about
Yes.
the film.
So really it came as there was somebody in my life who had committed suicide, and I was kind of compelled, I guess, to write something about what happens if you kind of get to somebody before that decision is
Yeah.
made. And so really it's a story about a woman who was going to make the same decision, but her attempt didn't work. And it's the community that kind of surrounds her and kind of walks with her through her process. And it's just heartwarming and it's uplifting and it's meant to be a message of hope. Because I think that in the world today, you kind of just need more hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what did you do on the film? Did you write it?
I
Did you do all
wrote
the
it,
things?
directed, produced it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why it's a 7-year process. I was lucky that I
Yeah.
had like a really solid, small core team to kind of help me through it. But yeah, it was a 7-year process.
Mm. And do we have the trailer, or do we have a clip?
It's a teaser. Yes.
Okay. Do we need
Yes.
to set it up at all, or should we just play it?
Um, so I could do a little bit of a setup. The teaser
Okay,
is
good.
really one of the characters in there. She's not the titular character, she is a side character, but she also had her own issues that she went through. So you're gonna see shots from the film and kind of one of her voiceovers from the film.
Okay, good. The film Saving Savannah, available on Tubi and Amazon. And what I was telling Aurielle before is that nothing makes me feel more like a talk show host than when I get to throw to a clip. So take a look at this clip.
I had just failed the biggest test of my life. That sounds so stupid when I say it out loud, but the test really mattered for my future. I had studied so hard throughout school, I got straight A's, I studied all the time, I didn't party, I didn't get into trouble. I had no friends. Yeah, I was that student. And at first, I didn't mind the pressure, kept me in check. But soon, all I could think about was how perfect I had to be. Every grade had to be perfect. I had to be perfect. And I started to feel this anxiety and stress like you wouldn't believe. And I didn't know what to do. That's why when I failed the test that I had been preparing for, I thought that was it. So I thought before I took my final vow, I could have one last night of doing what I wanted to. No pressure, no pretenses. And I did. I did everything that I wanted to without regret.
Coming soon, but available now on
Yes.
Tubi and Amazon Prime. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a labor of love.
I bet. What are you working on now?
I've got a few scripts that I'm trying to finalize now that we've got the film on Tubi and Amazon Prime. I can kind of turn my attention to some new things. Um, I'm really excited to get into some other genres now. Like I love sci-fi and I want to get into some of that type of stuff too. So
Fun. What is the best
yeah.
way that people can connect with you? Is it through which website?
So for me personally, Instagram is probably the best
Okay.
place to contact me. And that is just Aurielle Shalane, CHELAYNE on Instagram.
Okay, good. Before we leave today, well, first I want to know what you love most about your life right now.
Ooh, I like that I finally have gotten over my creative block. So
Mm.
I'm enjoying creating again. So that's been fun. That's been exciting.
That's a good question that I have now. It's not your final question. When when your world, when your business, when your life is creating, what do you do to recharge, to calm down, to be able to create more? Because it feels like when, like, oh my gosh, you get to do this all day, every day, but it's still work. And so what do you
Yeah.
do?
So for me, I like being surrounded by like pretty things or by like the ocean. Those are like my
Mm,
two major things. So I like if I can have my room decorated and it's like calm and it's pretty, I find that like my creative juices start to flow, or if I'm like at the beach. Those are
uh,
like the two places I recharge. Yeah.
that's
So it
perfect.
has to
That's
be like
nature.
surrounded by
Nature.
beauty, right?
Yeah, yeah, yes, I love that. I hope you come back for whatever
Yes.
I know you're working on all kinds of fun stuff, video games, and so whatever comes out, I hope you come back and hang out and tell us about it.
Oh, I will. This was fun.
Thank you so much. Aurielle Bryan,
Thanks for having
everyone. Thanks for being here. Go watch the movie Saving Savannah. It's on Tubi and Amazon Prime. That's our show. We'll be back tomorrow with an all-new show with estate planner Oscar Vasquez and Japanese spirits expert Christopher Pellegrini, who's also our new sponsor. So there's going to be a fun little commercial tomorrow. We'll see you then. Go make your day richer. Go make somebody else's day richer. You've made mine by watching this show, and I love you for it. Also, still a good time to share the show, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.